the heart of this nation, under skies so blue,
There's a spirit that's stirring, values strong and true.
from the mountains to the prairies, from the cities to the sea. We stand for liberty, for faith and family. We're diving deep into the heart of what we believe.
Okay, let's dive in. For this deep dive, we're really zeroing in on one specific news report that came out recently. It's about kind of unpacking just this single document, understanding exactly what it says, how it frames things.
Right. And the source we're focusing on, it's an article titled, "You Won't Believe What This Teacher Was Caught Saying About Trump in Class."
Catchy title.
Yeah. So our job here is to walk you through this piece, pull out the incident it describes, the reactions it talks about, and any commentary that's actually in the text.
Strictly what's in the article itself, guiding you through its specific account.
Exactly.
So let's start with the main event, the core incident that the article lays out.
Okay.
It's about a high school history teacher
Yeah.
in Tucson, Arizona. And according to this report, she's now under investigation.
And the article gives some context for this. It says the alleged comments happened during a lesson, specifically about World War II.
Okay, so history class, WWWII. How did this even come out? The article explains that.
Yeah, it says a student actually recorded parts of the lecture.
On their phone, presumably.
Presumably. The article states the student felt the comments were, well, inappropriate, and decided to take the recording to a local news station, KVOA.
Went to the media.
And the article includes what it says are direct quotes from that recording attributed to the teacher.
Okay, like what?
Well, one quote reported is, "Your generation, with the lowest information level, is the biggest supporter of Donald Trump. He has that in common with Hitler, too."
Wow, okay. That's quite a statement. Is there more?
Yes, the article shares another quote reportedly from the same lecture context saying Hitler catered to the youth and the youth catered to him.
So drawing parallels there, what about the student? How did they feel? The article gets into that.
It does. It brings in the student's perspective. Reports the student felt the teacher was trying to, quote, put her beliefs onto us.
Like pushing an agenda.
That seems to be the feeling conveyed in the article, yes. The student is quoted expressing frustration, saying they didn't appreciate being told that he and his generation are essentially, quote, Nazis for voting for or for being the biggest Trump supporters.
Okay, strong words. And the article mentions if this was a one-off.
The report notes the student claimed it wasn't the first time, that the teacher had blended personal opinions into lessons before, according to the student's account in the article.
Got it. And then there's the parent reaction, the father. What does the article say about him?
Well, it includes his reaction, too. He apparently characterized the teacher's comments as a form of bullying.
Bullying? Why that word specifically? Does it explain?
Yeah, the article quotes the father saying it's bullying because, in his words, she's calling our kids Nazis for their beliefs.
Yeah.
He's also quoted saying it's not something our kids need to be hearing.
Okay. And he's the one who went public or worked with the student.
The article explains his reasoning for involving the media. It reports he felt he had to go to the news because he didn't trust the school district to act.
Really? Why not?
He apparently felt his concerns will fall on dead ears if he just reported it internally to the district. That's what the article states.
Okay, so that explains the media angle. What about the school district's official response? Does the article include that?
It does. It mentions that KVOA, the news outlet, got a statement from the Tucson Unified School District.
What do they say?
Pretty standard, it seems. The article includes their statement saying they are, quote, aware of the allegation and it's under investigation. Full stop.
Right. Aware and investigating. Okay, so that covers the sort of immediate incident and the reactions right around it as the article lays them out. But you mentioned the piece goes broader. It includes other context and commentary.
It does, yeah. The article itself brings in some other elements. For instance, it points to what it calls similar past incidents.
Oh, like, wow.
It mentions a case back in 2016 in California. A teacher reportedly put on leave also for comparing Trump to Hitler.
Okay.
And it references another one, more recent, 2024 in Nevada, where a teacher apparently went on an anti-Trump rant in class. So it's framing this incident as part of a pattern, you could say.
Interesting. And what about opinions? Does the article include commentary beyond just reporting?
Oh, definitely. It quotes, for example, a tweet from a user named Licia.
And what did the tweet say? that the article included.
This tweet, as quoted in the article, calls the teacher deranged and says people like him should be arrested for trying to destroy the minds of people that can't differentiate truth from false realities.
Okay, so pulling in social media reactions there. Strong ones.
Very. And crucially, the author of the article also weighs in with their own perspective, quite strongly.
How so? What does the author state?
Well, the author writes, and this is their viewpoint presented in the piece, that progressives are using government-run schools to indoctrinate children into their ideology.
Okay, so a clear viewpoint there from the author.
Yeah, very clear. The author goes on to assert that teachers are, quote, getting away with foisting their political views on children without the knowledge of their parents.
And does the author connect this back to the father's bullying comment?
Explicitly. The author writes that the father is right, calling the teacher's alleged actions bullying, and describing it as an egregious abuse of power.
So, siding with the father's framing.
Yes. And the author interprets the teacher's alleged comments as basically telling children that they and their parents are Nazis for supporting a politician they don't like. That's the author's take in the article.
Does the author offer any solutions or next steps in their view?
They do. The author actually suggests within the article that parents who are able to should consider pulling their kids out, quote, abandon government-run schools altogether.
Wow. Okay. That's a significant recommendation.
And they conclude this commentary section by predicting this whole issue, as they see it, will likely get worse if Trump has a second term.
How so?
Predicting that many teachers will likely not be held accountable for using their classrooms to push political views, according to the author's perspective in the article.
So it's really important to stress here, these last points, the indoctrination claims, the bullying agreement, abandoning schools, the prediction, this is all commentary from the author presented within the specific article we're dissecting.
Absolutely crucial. We're reporting on what the source itself contains, including its own opinions and framing.
Right. It's fascinating how the article moves from the initial report into this really strong editorializing, essentially.
It is, and based purely on what this article presents, you can really see it highlighting these major tensions, right? Political speech in schools, teacher influence, parental rights.
Yeah, and the specific perspectives the article chooses to elevate the student's feeling of being pushed, the father's anger, and then the author's own quite pointed views.
So when you, the listener, consider the details as they are laid out in this specific report, what does it suggest about how the different players are portrayed? You know, the teacher, student, parent, the district, even the media's role in bringing it out.
And how the article itself seems to frame that whole dynamic politics hitting the classroom wall.
Exactly. What picture does this article paint?
Okay, so just to recap the ground we covered, purely from this one source article, we look at the alleged comments made by the teacher in Tucson during that WWII lesson.
The student's reported reaction, feeling it was inappropriate, recording it, going to the news.
The father's reported response, calling it bullying, feeling the district wouldn't listen.
The district's brief statement, just confirming awareness and an ongoing investigation as reported.
And then, significantly, the broader context and commentary within the article, referencing other incidents, quoting that strong tweet, and presenting the author's own views on indoctrination, bullying, and even suggesting parents leave public schools.
Right.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with, drawing only from this source. When you consider all these different voices and viewpoints that are presented within this single news report, the teacher's alleged words, the student's reported experience, the father's quoted concerns, and the article's own editorial commentary.
Yeah.
What does this specific piece, this article, suggest to you about the sheer difficulty of navigating political topics and personal beliefs within a classroom setting, at least as this source depicts those challenges? It certainly offers one particular and quite charged perspective on it.
Deep dive in the building. UK, what really good? Let's dive in. Get triggered. Netflix, you son of an itch. In your show Adolescence, you pulled a race switch. The real killer teen is black, you made him white. This ish just ain't right. We're diving deep into the heart